Is the mic on? My ladies! Not only the woman should they not underestimate, but you need to send a message to the Labour Party and tell them, don't underestimate the United Workers' Party! Pas quoi because you font floops. Ou passe ou dit toutes sortes de bail. Try kiene moon. Where the United Workers' Party is dead. We are alive and well. Ex Philippe J.P. dit ses noms. Dis-moi di couille, ring the bell. Tell him ring the bell. Ikaiwe manye flabo pawe. Let me say good evening to our head table, our protocol that has already been established. Let me once again greet my political leader, my friend, my bestie. Are we that? For now? Yeah. And the other members of the National Executive, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for them. I can say to you that especially, and every time we have a meeting, I have to say that, I want to acknowledge especially, she does not speak, she's quiet, she's in the background, but I want to give a special, and it's another woman again, who savent nous femmes qui fait tout bail, right? It's another woman. Our General Secretary has been doing an awesome job in ensuring that we hold those town hall meetings and ensuring we keep to a standard that is befitting of the United Workers' Party. So we need to give her a special round of applause this evening. And I have to say to you that you, my Flabo family, I of course I have phone number moi. Me na have message. Even let me send it la na have message. Let me la kay moi. Adadizo, kite moi dormi yo. 11h swear. 2h du matin na we moun ka voye message. Don't see you didn't hear that. Don't see that. Thank you very much for it. I appreciate it. I appreciate the love from the Flabo family. And I have to tell you, messieurs, Flabo a mouvant. So, Spider has told you, our political leader has told you, tout moun kado, St. Lucia is in trouble. And if you have not heard it, I'm sure some of you can feel it. I'm sure some of you can see it. But I can tell you there is one song. Tout partout nous passer cette lycée, nous tout katan, cette lycée, ex cette lycien, en trois cas. And I am telling you, my people, dele, Adam moun la yo ka ban mwen sad story. I feel for them. I can understand. Me la na da yo ka di mwen yo igwete, en fait nan si mwen igwete ba isa mwen fe komwa. Na we an che mwen. Because na di se ou ki cause nou konou ye la jodi ya. Yo ka confesse, hein, mwen ni pou dou sa. La ni ada di yo ka confesse. But last week, I went to the Senate, and there was going to be a debate on St. Jude's. Laissez Senator Labour Party, ouais, modou kaka dlo point yo tout. Yo vin commencer ka monter descendre, yo pas have ça pour faire. Bon, moi vle dou on dit dans la fouette tellement. So moi dit ko OK, na descendre na bon petit pot d'ité. Pour chauffer ça, moi, vous savez, parce que moi, je viens pour quoi tu dis faire dans là. Vous savez, c'est mon empêcher moi faire, yo fait mes débats là, moi. But let me tell you something. I am sending a message to the St. Lucia Labour Party. There are many ways to skin a cat. It's not only in the Senate Nancy Charles can talk. I can talk on the radio, I can talk on the TV, I can talk at the town hall, I can talk in my community in Grace, I can talk when I go and buy my animal feed. Tout moi passe, moi ça parle. So même si vous try ça, Senate là, Nancy still kay parle. Tell them I say so, because I am from the South. And I have to say something about St. Jude's and the $200 million that this government wants to borrow to say that they're going to complete St. Jude's Hospital. Let's talk about St. Jude's. Everywhere I go in the South, I can certainly tell you, nobody is rejoicing about that $200 million. Now do you buy? Ou savez les moi tan yo di yo kay hen la pour finish St. Jude, moi di li de moi bon Dieu. Isam si yo finish St. Jude by to bon no. And I started going around because I go everywhere. I go by the market, I go and buy animal feed, moi bosse farmer, moi tout partout. Person pa ka rejoice about $200 million sa. Un seul set moun ki ka rejoice, c'est Jean Leba. Bon, pour qui ça ou quoi yo ka rejoice la? Yo kwe si yo hen $2 million, ek si yo fini St. Jude, that ki yo kay gen election. So the premise is, if we finish St. Jude, we will win the election. They don't care about the fact that the price of bread has gone up. They don't care about the fact that they have brought up the price of bus fare in this country. They don't care about the fact that moun pa sa men manje en pays ya. Kon nou te ka vin ici ya, political leader hen de moun ki vin mande assistance because by where you pass a survive. Everywhere you go in this country, Labour Party does not care about that. The only thing they care about is protecting the victory. That's all they care about. But apparently, as somebody said, all they continue to do is to perpetuate the misery on the lives of St. Lucians. We in the South, ex-Jacasseries, you will excuse us. Because some of you don't know what we are going through. Les Jacasseries avec Philippe J. Pierre tombé malade, c'est pas un stadium là, yo ka mene. De lè pas même OK yo ka mene. De lè tapillon, ebe yo ka mene sous hélicoptère ki yo ka voye aller. But si moi tombé malade jodi ya, si ish moi tombé malade jodi ya, on stadium la yo ka mene nou. Ek moi vle dou, we from the South, we are tired of going to the stadium. We want a world-class health facility in the South. Ou vle di mwen le bani che, messieurs? Ou vle di mwen ou vle tiye nou dans un stadium? Et ou vle mette nou dans a facility ki ni 80 years? 80, my people. An 80-year-old facility, c'est la Labour Party vle mene nou. And I want to know who from the South is going to stand up and accept that. I will not accept it. I will not tolerate it. Is that what we deserve in the South? So nous pa vle bel bay kon OK EU. Nous pa vle bel building, nous pa vle modern building. Ça nous donc South deserve. Si on bay ki toujours ka croiser, on bay ki pa bon, that is what we deserve in the South. Is that the message that the Labour Party is sending to us? That's what we deserve. And by the way, talking about what we deserve, Zobata news la? Zobata news la? Ebe bradizo. Zo chanje quantité bagay ke ni ontani ek Labour Party di about Theo Akin and the horse racing track in Vieux-Fort. Y'all remember that? Zo chanje yo di nou pa brise horse racing track. Nou kay fe jen moun amase kaka cheval. Zo chanje sa? Are you know kodi bagay la? Are you aware kodi yo kadia? Today, I saw a story that Renault is building a horse racing track for us to hold horse racing in Vieux-Fort for free. So we leave a world-class facility. Nuba bien about li. We left a facility that is of world-class racing. And those of you who came to the racetrack when it opened, ek Renault kay fan bay boka kabef la. Mwen toujou ka passe la as un shortcut. Yo block chimè. Ek ki pon greda. Ek debako, ek ki grade chimea, ek ki kay la jeti takte an lay, ek yo kay me deti barricade. And that is what they're giving us in the South, and they call it a horse racing track. Ek nou janvier fò kay pou sa. Di Kenny, di Philippe J. ek di Renault mwen di, nou pa vle, chebey, mene vie ko yi sorti ya. We don't want it. We don't want it. And let me tell you something. Does anybody in St. Lucia believe that Renault Kajada is building that racetrack for free? Okay. OK. All right. Yo te di manger devant parlement for free comment? All right. OK. Listen. I mean, it is just shameful what we tolerate and we accept in this country. That you're telling me that you had a leader like Alan Michael Chasney who goes out and negotiate for the best for us in St. Lucia. Nou kite yek nou vle ayan le kaka bef la. Can you imagine? You're so hot vwe. But nou plis so hot. Because sou nou wè stevye for. Ek sou jou racetrack la. Nou kite kay nou. Ek nou ale la di nou kay gade horse racing. Nou plis so hot. So I'm calling for everybody from the south to boycott that horse racing track and that horse racing that's going to happen. We need to boycott that nonsense. We don't want it. All we deserve in the south is what is acceptable and world class. We deserve it and we deserve better. My people, there is too much back and forth about St. Jude's. Too much back and forth about St. Jude's. People can't pay their bills. Government came to parliament. They give you 2.5. They put everything up. And today, they're going to add another $200 million to the national debt of St. Lucia. Who serves the Prime Minister Adi? ED that is going to contribute 4.3% to our national debt. Mother Philippe J. Pierre, comme l'argent cette lisi doué right now. But that is not so bad, you know. If Philippe J. Pierre, and I waited for it, I have to say to you, I listened to the debate in Parliament, I listened to the Prime Minister. I waited because tout le monde qui ici a doit have un kay. Ek ma jamais connaître pièce son aller à pièce banque. Ek di banque la moi vle fon kay. Ek mwen de kay la kay nay brise $200, $1 million, $500,000 pour fon kay. Qui sa banque la kamado? Where is your plan? Where is your drawing? Where is your costing? Because that is what is going to dictate how much money that you're going to ask the bank for. But Philippe J. Pierre, in Saudi, Itan yoga bay l'argent tout partout region. And I mean, come on. This is easy information to find. Moi hadi Philippe J. Pierre, love in Parliament. Pas try debate avec Alan Michael Chasney. Because Alan don't come in the parliament with nonsense. He comes with facts, he comes with substance, he comes with document, and he comes with his figures. So when he tell you, you did not have to go and look for the money, he was right. The money came looking for you. You didn't have to go to Saudi Arabia to look for the money. The Saudi Arabians came to the region. You are Jamaica. You are Saint-Vincent, you are Trinidad, you are St. Kitts, you are tout partout avec your Vincent Lissi. So you didn't go and look for no money. The people came and they tell you they have money giving. But naidu yo bagay, sell sanadu. There's nothing for free in this country. There's no free lunch. Ek tato, Magdadet, Jordi Amwedo, Lou Kaitan Puya Setlisi ni pou pay pour $200 million sa, ou kaidi nan city hadino. Because there's a price to pay for it. Don't think it is free money. Okay? But he heard that there's money given away, and so he's going to take $200 million. And the man come to Parliament to try and pull the wool over us. So he says to the Parliament, this money, and I want to say exactly what he said. He said, this money is going to completely refurbish and equip St. Jude's Hospital. And then he said that there's money is going to also refurbish the stadium. Bon, moi, vle madame question. How much money is it going to take to refurbish St. Jude's? And how much money is allocated to the stadium? Can anybody tell me? Masav, Ipadi, but idi kay by St. Jude's, Ekikai by stadium. Can you believe this? A minister of finance. You stand in the parliament of St. Lucia to say you're borrowing $200 million for St. Jude's and the stadium, but you can't give a breakdown. How long is it going to take for them to complete the refurbishment? Because Mahdi say construction, Nadi honorable guy. La Panipias construction la. They are refurbishing an 80-year-old building. How long is it going to take to complete the refurbishment of the 80-year building? Does anybody know? Did you hear that from the Prime Minister? So you come to Parliament, you're going to complete St. Jude's, mais ou pas hadi nou kometan ikai pour finish St. Jude's. And you think people sit down and they're so gullible and they believe that. One thing I want to say to Honorable Philip J. Pierre. You said that the money is going to complete, he said it's going to complete St. Jude's. I pray to God, and my political leader is there, the day Philip J. Pierre comes back to Parliament to say the money was not enough and we need to borrow more money, Micoud, si Alan Pavle fay, na point mic, na point machine, nou ka fè motoke, and we protesting the entire St. Lucia, but we will not borrow one more cent towards St. Jude's Hospital. And we putting him on notice. Sou di la han kay fay, make sure la han kay fay. But let me tell you something. I am standing here because I am telling you, I, Nancy Charles, do not support $200 million going to the refurbishment of an 80-year-old facility. I don't support that. And I'll tell you why. When we came into government, we had these of it. I watched the sitting in the parliament. And I have that further down, but I'll tell you that. I was thoroughly disgusted when I saw a snake stand up in the parliament and he called people political scavengers. So I'm going to croiser TV à la caille. Moi di bodie say nom sa ba honte. You mean to tell me you stand up in the parliament and you want to call people names? You mean to tell me that man wakes up in the morning, he looks at himself in the mirror, and he says that he is proud to be where he is today? Nom sa pa changé. C'est les bas qui kouye uneducated. Labour Party took a video of him of Wycliffe Jean jumping over him. Y'all remember that? The Labour Party took all his pictures and they call him Stephanie Queen. Y'all remember that? I remember that because it was the 2011 election and I was a candidate. Ek maman mwen se Labour. Ek le mwen passe bo kay maman mwen teni sick poster le kaila. And I'm sure some of you can remember that. They took a picture of Stephen King. They put him in a bathing suit, a polka dot bathing suit. Y'all remember that? They put a woman's face on his body and they put lipstick on his mouth and they created posters about that. Laisse-moi passer bon kay maman moi kay fort bay. Laisse-moi poster moi t'en wache tellement moi déchouer tout poster sorte les kay là. Ek moi dit si n'y a problème avec ça, vinn ouais moi. Nous te kay juste goume because I was very disgusted by the Labour Party. They call him a messenger boy. They call him uneducated. All kinds of names they call him. Ek jodia ou ka vin di mo ou ka do buta pa mi se moun sa ek di I am happy where am I. You are licking their toes and their feet for attention. Yo pa vle. They don't want him. They don't trust him. But you see all what he is doing is for attention. So moi nom la pour un petit poster rising from the ashes. Zopate way. Moi yon ki way. Zopagade. Moi ten pou gade because moi te vle ton cochonnier te ka di ap moi te respond. The man take a poster rising from the ashes that he had created in 2011 to talk about St. Jude. Mais ça m'a te tellement. Moi koute bien because moi connait poster moi te là. When he flipped the pages and he got to the point where he was going to be talking about building a new hospital, he stopped. He stopped. I watch him. He stopped, and then he put it down, and he took the second page, and he started reading. Stephenson King was the one who first proposed the idea of building a new St. Jude's Hospital. Right. He was the one who proposed it. I can tell you that I was a candidate, maybe campaign Alessa. I campaigned on it. Alan was there, he campaigned on it. And today, you want to stand up and you want to clap for the Labour Party. And I look at these people, Labour Party under Kenny Anthony spent 5 years in government. So, c'est clair, finish St. Jude. 5 years and they could not finish St. Jude. And then when it was time for UWP, when we came into office, Kisayodi, Nusa just wait tak chemical. Ek meyati tak petian lay, ek Nusa fini. Jodi I need 2 years. And how many months and counting? Yo bosa me tak chemical, ek tak petian lay. So the chemical is going to cost $200 million. The paint is going to cost $200 million. I mean, these people are so, I don't even know. I don't want to say what's on my mind. But I'll tell you something. St. Lucians, we have not forgotten. Okay? And we did the responsible thing. So when you go out there and you hear them talking nonsense, I want you to defend your party. Because when we got into office and we saw what was going on, the political leader and the minister did not stop the project. But when they got the report from Shanta King, they said, guys, that report says so many things. We need to go there and see what is happening. And we paid a team of consultants. Nous pas acheter gens, nous pas acheter famille, nous pas acheter UWP hacks. That's not what we did, which is what the Labour Party did. We brought in professional people to give us a professional report to assess where the hospital was. Some of you who are here, Zotedes and St. Jude, when we opened it, you remember that? When we brought you to the facility to show you the corridors, and we showed you the doors, we showed you the ceiling, we showed you all the defects that the FDL report spoke about. You all remember that? So, Jordia, Zoka di mwen Zoka acid la, ek Zoka accepte. Tout se ba isa nou mouche Zoki pate bo, you will accept the Labour Party spending $200 million to try and fix this thing to bring us back in that chicken coop. I will not stand for it. It is not right, my people. This United Workers' Party, we spent over $100 million and we built you a world-class facility. The facility, and I mean, I listened a couple of days ago, I was speaking to Minister Joseph, and this gentleman is so intimate about the project that when they try to ridicule us about the roof and the leaking roof, you remember that? The roof like a leak. The minister asked, where exactly is the roof leaking? What are they talking about? And then when the political leader explained to him that it was in between, he said that this is not a leaking roof. This is where they have put in some sort of a padding between, because there's about 3 or 4 buildings, and there's a padding in between. And so it is put in there in case of an earthquake. So it is earthquake resilient. So si building ka sukwe, padding ka sukwe same pi ka empêcher building quasi. But these people brought in a team que pare sa même kopon sa. That is the facility we built for you. You see the panels? Because somebody tell me don't call it cladding. And I agree. It's not a cladding. It is a panel. A panel that is placed on the facility. That panel is fireproof. Because, Shoje, what was the reason we had the massacre at St. Jude? Wasn't it a fire? So we built you a facility that is fireproof. And you're telling me today you still want to go into the old facility. My people, it is not acceptable. And I tell you, we in the South, we hope that the people in the North will support us. But we in the South, we want our modern facility. Nous pas vle chicken coupla. We don't want an 80-year-old facility. Imagine, the loan is 20 years. I want to tell you that. 20 years to pay loan. Do you think that 80-year facility will last 20 years? I'm asking you a question. Do you think that 80-year-old facility will last another 20 years? So it means that by the time we finish paying that loan, or even before we finish paying the loan, nous gagnons pour prendre l'autre loan, either pour un gérer l'hôpital ça encore, et bien pour faire l'autre l'hôpital. Are you kidding me? This is what governance has come down to in St. Lucia. And when they realized that people were not buying into their rhetoric, you know what they did? Can't even a parliament. Mr. Speaker, I don't understand why monies I negotiated was diverted to a Panama account. My people, let me tell you all something. Si le Richard Kenny Pip, do not listen to this nonsense again. I am imploring you. Because these people do not have the interests of St. Lucia at heart. This is the same Kenny Anthony. You remember when we were in government? And Stephenson King was prime minister. Richard Frederick was in the government. Kenny Anthony said that he was going to write to investors not to invest in this country because of that same Richard Frederick. Richard Frederick. You all remember that? So I will tell you one thing. They will do any and everything to try and protect the victory. Even ruin diplomatic relationships with persons we've had relationships for years. Tous les jours, Philippe J. Pierre, la TV Kagouye, Daniel Colors, the Taiwanese, our family, our friends, yo kabayo $1 million la, yo kabayo $2 million la, they're happy. And you mean to tell me today, you stand up in the parliament and allow Kenny Anthony to accuse the Taiwanese government of corruption with the St. Lucia government? Can you imagine that? Let me tell you something. We should not stand up and tolerate that. And even to the point when I read the story this morning, I felt a little bit embarrassed. Can you imagine that the government of Taiwan, pas ambassadeur c'est ici qui font un statement, hein? C'est pour mucho ça arrive juste Taiwan ou ça. Do you know that? This thing went all the way to Taiwan, that the government of Taiwan had to issue a statement on Taiwanese state media and send it back down here to say that there was nothing amiss. Nothing amiss. But I tell you something, Philippe J. Pierre and the Labour Party, you need to pay pour ces bails ça. They must pay for it. Because you are calling the reputation not of Alan Chasney, you are calling the reputation of every single St. Lucian into disrepute. And what about the public servants? Because I'll tell you one thing, Alan Chasney didn't sign any document. The public servants are the one who signed the documents. So Philippe J. Pierre Power signature qui laisse qui en les documents. Why didn't he call them and ask them what is going on? I see this document. When they asked him that on Radio 100, you heard what he said? I will leave it there for speculation. So what does that tell you? He is deliberately creating mischief. So my people, I'm telling you, when it comes to St. Jude's, I'm passionate about it. Because if anything happens, we will be going to St. Jude's. I have to say to Philip J. Pierre and to all the members of the Labour Party, we, the members of the United Workers' Party, will not stand for what is going on in this country. We will not stand for them spending our money because I'll tell you something. They've borrowed the money. Right? You do realize that it's your tax money that is going to pay that loan. And your children and your children's children. And so if it is your money, we demand the best. So I am calling on you that we need to stand up to the Labour Party. If we have to march, we will march. I want you to call the radio station. Matana said Izokakuye. Call the radio station. Call the programs. Call Newspin. Call Makes Me Mad. Call Timothy. Call everywhere. When you go out on the streets in Micoud, in Tiroche, in Vieux-Fort, tell the people, Champagne, when you go to the airport, we do not want the 80-year-old facility. So I am making a clarion call to everybody who can hear me. My St. Lucian people, the time will come. Mahalas pali, ile pou mwen komanse marcher. How many of you will join me? How many of you will walk with me? How many of you will protest with me? It's time for action. Ek nou ka me le ba le notice. We don't want an 80-year-old facility. We want a modern facility that was constructed under the leadership of Alan Michael Chasney. Thank you very much, and I will see you on the streets of St. Lucia. Good night.